You ever glance down at your dash, see the temp climb, and feel your stomach drop like you just missed a stop payment on your mortgage? Yeah, $245 on the coolant, $140 on the trans, and your brain starts writing a very expensive story. Here's the good news. Your V8 probably isn't about to explode. Here's the bad news. A couple of small mistakes most of us make every day can make it act like it is. Today I'm giving you 3 fixes dealers almost never volunteer because they're simple, cheap, and make you dangerous in a good way. Let's get one thing straight up front so nobody panic buys a head gasket kit. Modern trucks run hotter than the old days. That's by design. Higher thermostat targets, tighter emissions, and fancy aero tricks mean seeing coolant in the 220s under load isn't an emergency. The problem isn't the number, it's when airflow, pressure, and transmission heat pile on at the same time. That combo is what turns a normal climb into a rolling sauna. So we're going to break that stack apart. Fix number 1 is the most boring, and that's why it gets ignored. Pressure and purge. Your coolant cap is the bouncer at the club. If he's weak, everybody gets in and your night goes sideways. A healthy cap keeps pressure where it belongs, and pressure raises the boiling point. Lose pressure, and you'll boil at temps your truck should shrug off. Couple that with air in the system, and you've got a fake overheat. Gauge screaming, fans freaking out, coolant puking out the bottle, while half your radiator is actually dry. The cure is simple. Put the correct cap on the truck, and after any cooling work, vacuum fill it, or have a shop vacuum fill it to pull the air out. And when the engine is stone cold, set the coolant level at the MIN line, not max. Overfilling is self-sabotage. The expansion has nowhere to go, so it vents, and you think you've got a leak. Most people never hear that from a service advisor because it isn't a recall. But it fixes more mystery heat complaints than anything else I've seen. If you're thinking, mine still creeps up, cool, then your bottleneck is airflow. That's fix number 2, and it's 2 parts. Part A, active grille shutters. Those little doors in front of your radiator that help aero and warm up. When they fail, bind, or get blocked by a bracket or a wad of leaves, your truck can't breathe at highway speed. The fans are screaming, but the big air isn't moving through the stack. If you've ever seen codes for shutter performance, or you look in there and the louvers are half closed while you're roasting, that's your culprit. They should sweep fully open and fully closed. If they don't, you've got a quick win sitting in your grill. Part B is the I can do this in my driveway secret. Clean the cooling stack. Not just the radiator face you can see, the condenser in front, the intercooler, if you have one, and the radiator behind them act like a lint filter for the world. Bugs, dust, seeds, especially if you tow or live where stuff blooms, cement into the fins and turn your heat exchanger into a blanket. Pull the top cover, gently backflush from the engine side out with low-pressure water and a foaming cleaner made for fins. Take your time. You're not power washing a deck, you're combing hair. I've watched trucks drop 10 to 20 degrees under the same load just from reversing the airflow and getting the junk out. No parts, no drama, just patience. Quick pause while we're on obvious wins. If you like tips that stop the gauge climb without throwing parts at a hunch, hit subscribe. I keep these fixes short, repeatable, and tied to stuff you can do this weekend. No ego, just results. Back to it. The third fix is where most of the panic lives: transmission heat. Engines get all the attention because the gauge is big and scary, but cooked ATF is what kills road trips. Your automatic is happiest in the 175 to 225 range. When it's climbing toward 240 and beyond, the fluid is sacrificing itself so you don't have to walk. Seals harden, additives quit, and it never happens at a convenient time. Always on a long grade with a headwind, or with the boat behind you and nowhere to pull over. You've got 3 layers of defense here. The first costs $0, use tow haul earlier, and keep the gearbox out of the laziest tall gears when you're climbing. Tow/haul changes shift logic and converter behavior to keep pump speed and fan speed up. Manually locking out the very top gear on a long grade stops the bog and cook dance. You'll see the trans temp stabilize just from that. Second, if you're ordering or shopping, spec the tow or max cool package from the factory. Manufacturers hide a lot of cooling in those codes. Extra rows, bigger heat exchangers, different fan logic. Without shouting it on the window sticker. It's not sexy, but it's the difference between white-knuckling a hill and narrating a road trip. Third, if you're out of warranty and you're a regular in the ATF 240 club, Look at auxiliary cooling or a thermal bypass solution that gets fluid through the cooler sooner. Do your homework here. Colder isn't always better in winter, and you don't want to trip a drivability issue just to chase a number. But for folks in hot climates towing heavy, it's a lifesaver. I've seen 10 to 20 degree drops in repeatable loops with nothing more than smarter routing and a sensible cooler. Again, not a dealer upsell because it's not a recall and there's no line item on the invoice, but it works. Now, some of you are thinking, okay, but my gauge hits 230 coolant on a summer hill even after I did all this. Am I killing it? Short answer, not automatically. Under load, 220 to 235 coolant isn't crazy on a modern calibration. What you're watching for is the trend and the pileup. If coolant spikes, trans climbs, and the fans can't pull it down at a steady 60 miles per hour, that's a system issue. Air pocket, shutters, clogged fins, or a fan that's not giving you full song. Work the checklist and the truck will usually tell you which piece is lazy. Also, stop letting tires and gears steal your cooling margin. Jumping to 35s without recalibrating and then lugging up a hill in too tall a gear is how you create heat with your right foot. The engine's working harder at lower fan speed, and the transmission is slipping the converter to keep up. That's double heat. If you love the look, cool. Just adapt the way you drive grades. Downshift earlier. Tow haul sooner. Power is there. Use it smart. Let's do the 2-minute driveway diagnostic I wish every owner did. Cold morning. Pop the hood. Where is the coolant? If it's at max cold, you're overfilled. Suck it down to minimum. Look through the grille. Are the shutters open after start and close when commanded? If you can't see them move, you can still tell whether they're physically blocked. Shine a light through the stack. Does it look like a screen door or a felt pad? If it's felt, it needs the spa day. Now go drive your same problem loop. Moderate speed, light load. Watch the temps with tow haul off. Then repeat with tow haul on and top gear locked out during the hill. If trans temp behaves with smarter gearing, you found the lever. If it doesn't budge, airflow and pressure are still the villains. By the way, if you've already done a thermostat, a pump, a fan clutch, and your wallet is sore, don't skip the cap. I've lost count of how many everything new cooling systems still boiled early because the cap was a random part store special with the wrong pressure. The $10 part is allowed to be the hero. It usually is. Let's hit the fear head on before we land this. Explode gets clicks. And yeah, it feels like it when the chime goes off and you're at the top of third gear with a trailer. But engines don't grenade from a single climb. They die from repeated abuse. Boiling the same spots in the heads because an air pocket never left. Hammering the trans fluid into jelly every weekend. Letting shutters stay half shut for a season. The fixes we just covered break that pattern. Pressure and purge means your coolant carries more heat safely. Airflow means your radiator can actually shed it. Smarter transmission control means your fluid stays in the zone it was designed to live in. If you're finding this before a big tow or a summer road trip, do yourself a favor. Print a little index card and toss it in the console. Cap or level at MIN cold. Shutters move, stack clean, tow haul early, lock out the laziest gear on climbs. That's it. 5 lines that keep the lights off and the family happy. And look, if this just saved you from panic buying a radiator or white-knuckling a grade, tap subscribe. I don't do mystery fixes or parts cannons. I bring the boring stuff that quietly works, the numbers that matter, and the honest trade-offs so you can keep money in your pocket and miles on your truck. One last thought for the comment warriors. Brand doesn't matter to physics. GM, Ram, Ford, every modern V8 lives by the same rules. Pressure raises the boiling point. Air moves heat. ATF hates being slow roasted. I'm not here to win a badge fight. I'm here to make your gauge boring again. Do these 3 and watch how quickly about to explode turns into it's fine. Tell me your hottest numbers below. Coolant peak, trans peak, what fixed it, and what you tow. Be honest with fuel grade, tire size, and gears. The more data we stack, the less money the next guy burns chasing a ghost. I'll see you on the next one, and hopefully it's a "my temps dropped 20 degrees" story instead of a "guess how big my bill was."